one of the guests was Steve Carell. I remember him arriving on the stage and then sitting in silence for at least a minute or two as Ellen talked and talked and talked his ear off, trying to prepare her first question, until finally she looked over at him and said that she could tell he was about to be really funny just by looking at him. And indeed, I don't remember paying attention to anything Ellen was saying because it was so much funnier just to watch Steve Carell's face not saying anything. What would it be like to be Steve Carell? To be expected to be funny in any context? To have such a reputation for it that even when you're not doing anything special, it seems funny? Well, over my time at St. Mary's, I've learned exactly what that is like. For some reason, people don't always seem to take me that seriously. And I've been asking for it from the start. You see, I went to middle school that I need not name here, but my experience there was somewhat less than inspiring. I didn't feel a connection with most of my peers, and spent most of my time outside school doing homework or being on online message boards. I was just itching to get out of there. I remember when 7th grade was ending, I mistakenly thought that I was about to get to go to high school, with that's how much I wanted to go. So when the last bell rang on my final day of 8th grade, I slung on my backpack, clutched my new yearbook, and this is true, screamed, "Get me out of here," and ran all the way from the backfield to the bus. And when I was on the bus, I got to thinking, middle school is such a horrendous time for most people, because you're caught in the middle, as the name middle school would suggest, I guess. We write these speeches kind of late at night, sorry. You don't have the security and the carefree spirit of a child, but you're nowhere near as smart, mature, or responsible as a high schooler would be. Sorry if there's any middle schoolers in the audience, but it's true. Middle school is a time of confusion more than anything. You're a TBA person, a person to be announced. On that final school bus ride, I pondered how I would announce myself in high school, and an answer came so quickly: be funny. This was a sort of hobby I'd been working on. I already knew that I could be tragically funny, as in the type where everybody except me gets why I'm being funny. That was my specialty, in fact. But I wanted more. I wanted to be intentionally, gut-bustingly, knee-slappingly, pants-peeingly funny. It seemed like the ideal trait for making friends. Being nice is nice, but it's not distinguishing. Same with being cool. There's nothing wrong with it, but it doesn't really accentuate who you are. But humor is both universal and individual. Anyone can enjoy it, but it always reflects on the person creating it. So I did it. I became funny. Now, that's not to say my sense of humor is funny to everyone. I'm just saying that a lot of the feedback I get from day to day is humor. So, scientifically speaking, I am funny to some people. Life was great. I had all these new friends, but there was something a little off. I was funny, but I had feelings too. And sometimes I felt as if people brushed that part of me off, because they would have liked to think that I was just the comic relief. Stephen Colbert has said in interviews that all comedians are damaged in some way. For him, it was the death of his father and 2 brothers that made him turn to humor. I don't think I'm damaged, but jokes were becoming a dangerous excuse to avoid things that were really on my mind. I even let myself believe that people only liked the funny me and didn't want anything to do with the real me. So in a way, I was keeping myself from opening up to others. And eventually, the truth was that people were okay with me, funny or not. I say all this because we are all reaching a new TBA point in our lives. Soon we'll be hearing stories about shy girls coming out of their shells, bubbly, happy girls turning goth, who gets married first, who starts their long-term career first, who's legally changing her name to Chocolate Thunder, and all the rest. A lot of you are anticipating college as a time to reinvent yourselves, but you don't have to invent. Who you are is enough for anybody, and I would take that very, very seriously. And now it is my pleasure to introduce my co-salutatorian and one of my best friends, Julia Tawney.